match for playoffs, we are using the 5-ban per team system.
Yeah, we got a really fun new software that we're going to be using. Gives us a little extra edge before that patch 7.9, I believe, is a mid-season patch, which will be introducing the 5-ban system to the normal client. So we get a little bit ahead of that in Minnesota LCS. You know, we're professional. We like to be ahead of the curve. And it really adds a whole new dynamic to the pick and ban. I mean, we just saw last night in Ganked by Gophers against Pocket Picks, just the kind of mental games that you can play with the 5-ban system for anybody who is not accustomed to it. 3 picks from each team, 3 bans from each team, then 2 picks, and then 2 bans. Reverse, 3 bans from each team, then 3 picks, then 2 bans, and then 2 picks. It really adds a whole nother layer to the ban system, and some teams have really struggled, even in like North American LCS, to adapt to the 5-ban system, and some of these teams here have had 0 experience with it. So I'm curious to see what they're able to do coming in here.
Yeah, and that is a very big point, especially because it goes 3-3, then 2-2 in the format that you mentioned. And some of that means that you want to focus in that 3 initial ban to get rid of the priority picks in that first set, and then use the second set of bans to more focus on banning out the way that the enemy team would want to round out the composition. So let's say initially they pick up a Lulu for a support, or they pick up a Kog'Maw. You know that the thing that would pair up well with that is going to be a Lulu. So in the next round of bans, if they haven't picked it already, you could go ahead and ban out that Kog'Maw or Lulu to ruin the potential way that they would want to round out the composition. Or there's many other ways, such as if they're going for some big Yasuo Wombo combo, you just ban out the Yasuo in the second round of drafts.
Yeah, we are now. We're into the first ban here, and Blue Side waits to the last second. Hovered Twisted Fate, but it wasn't locked in. In last night match, we had a gentleman's agreement that since it's only 30 seconds and teams aren't accustomed to it, they can just message if they intended to have the ban because maybe they didn't quite hit the lock-in. And now, again, this is what happens when some of these players don't have the experience with this pick and ban tool. And now they're getting accustomed to it. But I looked back, and actually the team that was the winner of the head-to-head between these two was St. Olaf, taking the win against Chicken Chasers. So maybe we'll see that again. And another missed ban. St. Olaf.
And that was back in week 10, so that was actually recent.
Very recent. Seems like Olaf is still struggling here to figure out how to click one button. It's pretty easy, guys.
Don't really make it too hard on them. It's a different format. You have to go ahead and figure out where everything is in a short amount of time. So don't blame them too hard on it, as long as the teams agree that is the main thing that's important.
Yeah, so TF was banned for the first time, but we don't know what was banned the second time. It seems like they might be asking...
It is going to be Twisted Fates and Victor as the first 2 bans.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, and now Rumble is locked in. There we go.
Yeah, so Rumble is going to be the 3rd ban, so that means the final ban for Chicken Chasers is probably going to be... They've been having mostly mid-lane bans focused towards them. One side, they've been focusing more power picks to ban out. Something they could look to ban right now, it could be something like Graves, someone we've been seeing as very high priority for these teams in the last few weeks. But it's actually going to be Lux.
Okay. Interesting ban there, respecting Wolfie Meister's Lux play potentially, or even some people have been playing it as Lux in the support role. It's not that popular, but some people like to go for the kind of that kill lane pressure. Either way, it's taken off the table. With a couple of recent buffs to the champion, she's seen a rise in popularity, having that ultimate reset if you're able to get the kill.
Wait. The pick ban is going to go ahead and get restarted.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
There was a bit of an issue with one of the sides trying to get into this, so they are just going to be restarting it completely from scratch, and we are right back into it now. All right.
Okay.
Do you have the link?
Yes, it was posted into the chat, so I'm going to click that right now. And just restart the whole thing. This is what I made sure that all the teams were aware of last time, is try to get some practice on this, but the issue is some of these teams just... Again, they have never used this before. If this is their first time using it, it can be very confusing. But there we go. There's all the bans. And now we can get into the first picks. Let's see what's locked in. It's actually going to be the Ahri, something that Wolfie Meister not only plays a lot of, but is also a very highly prioritized pick in this tournament so far.
Yeah, and some of the champions that we'll see be played against this Ahri often are champions such as Syndra or Orianna to try and have a safe or at least a strong early lane phase against Ahri. And I wonder if they're going to try and pick that up right away, or if they're going to opt into going for another power pick, such as the Graves, which has been left open. Or there are still a few other champions which could be seen as powerful. Gragas being locked in, that may be a top lane Gragas.
Definitely could be. Boosted 420, not being able to play the two champions he has in the past seemed most comfortable on, playing Victor and Twisted Fate. So the question is, what is he going to answer to the Ahri? You're right, Orianna, Syndra, both champions that are pretty strong because they have that scalability getting to the late game. And also fairly strong laning phases against the Ahri. Orianna is hovered locked in, the supportive mid laner that can also, later stages of the game, just completely delete the squishier members. It's a very strong pick, and it's a matchup that we've seen time and time again in this mid lane. Typically going about even during laning phase. The only thing swaying it towards one favor is the jungle. Who's going to put pressure onto that mid lane to try to get their lane ally ahead? And now Fiora locked in.
Something that could be strong to pair in with the Ahri would be Lee Sin if they decide to lock in later on. But it looks like we're going to be having Fiora and Caitlyn, as you mentioned, being locked in. So there is one last pick to retaliate against. That's going to be Lucian.
And this is something... Again, I like to scrutinize some of these picks when I just disagree with them. I mean, picking Lucian into the Caitlyn is so difficult to play. Gavin97, he's got to be feeling very confident, but Caitlyn's oftentimes picked as the counter to Lucian when Lucian's locked in. So opting to take this matchup, you're going to have some kind of aggressive support or something that can get maybe some poke in or sustain with no Lulu available. Maybe the Karma, they would love to pick that up with the Lucian. You got to somehow allow him to stop taking damage from that poke from the Caitlyn.
Yeah, that's an excellent point that you make. Another thing that they could have been thinking of is not necessarily going to be how well the laning phase would go in terms of the bully potential of this Caitlyn trying to counter the Lucian, but it could be something such as how well will it be when trying to go for these skirmishes against the other champions. Lucian, having very high kiting potential, is incredibly strong against champions such as the Fiora and the Ahri that want to try and chase down a single squishy target, just because he can kind of keep up with their chasing mobility.
Yeah, but again, champions like Ezreal, I still like more. You can kind of match the poke from Caitlyn as well as have that kite ability. We'll see, though, because again, Gavin97, maybe he's just confident enough in his own mechanical skill to be able to win the matchup, even though it's not favored. And then, yeah, as you said, carry it to different lanes. He might be accepting, look, it's going to be rough in lane, but if I can affect other lanes better or affect the later game team fights, it will be worth it. As now two supports are banned away. Two of the supports I would have liked to see with the Lucian, and now they're still not showing that support. They're going to have very few options here. Lulu, Karma, Nami taken away, and now St. Olaf is going to pick theirs. What's going to be left on the table for Chicken Chasers after this? Historically, supports that go well with Lucian would be something like the Braum with the passive, pairing very well with Lucian. Something like the Sona, honestly. I like that lane, but it might get taken away from this is an incredibly pokey lane, and it's going to be ridiculously hard for Chicken Chasers to deal with that. Lucian, you got to get close to the wave to farm, but now you have two of the most pokey champions in the entire game just burning you down. And honestly, I like this bot lane draft from St. Olaf.
Yeah, I really like the draft from St. Olaf, and I feel like a great support champion that could counter this would either be the Braum that can stop all that poke in the first place if he has his shield ready half the time, or you can also go with something that has a lot of sustain, such as Nami, which Nami also synergizes incredibly well with the rest of the team from Chicken Chasers.
Nami's banned, though. That's the issue. So do you take Soraka? Or Soraka is a pretty strong counter to the Sona, though, and so is the Janna, but this is the thing is...
Actually, no.
Okay.
Sona counters Janna.
All right.
I can say it with confidence. The main reason is Sona's poke is a much lower cooldown than Janna's shielding, so you can easily poke through Janna's shields, and that's why.
Okay, I could see it going either way. There's an argument to be made for both, I think, and we'll just have to see. The biggest thing I'd say is Janna can't shield the Caitlyn and the Sona right now, and that's the biggest issue is you're having to mitigate two heavily kind of lane bully champions, and all you have is a Lucian with you. Janna being really good at the disengage, so Xin Zhao's going to have a difficult time ganking bot side. But, I mean, this is an interesting composition from Chicken Chasers. Orianna wants the enemy team to be grouped together, whereas Gragas and Janna kind of want to blow them away. It's just going to be interesting to figure out how they work those ultimates together to combo off of each other.
Yeah, and now we're just going to be having the players go through the pick ban phase on the actual client itself just to make so that we can get locked in and ready. And do you want to go ahead and just list through the different champions that we have going into this game for each position?
Sure. I mean, they're about to see it on the screen anyway, but it will be. And again, this is a new rule that we have in place. If you're swapping your champion with another player's champion, you have to do it within 20 seconds of the game starting. That way, there's no confusion as to who you will be laning against. So that way, you can have your correct runes and masteries, all of that set up. New rule that we've implemented for the playoffs. So that means that we will be seeing actual compositions here of Fiora top for St. Olaf with Xin Zhao jungle, Ahri mid, Caitlyn Sona bot. Chicken Chases is going to be the Gragas top with Rek'Sai jungle, Orianna mid with Lucian Janna bot. It's going to be an interesting, again, composition here. Looking at the lanes, mid can go even. Bottom, I am going to give it to the side of St. Olaf. What do you think about this top lane, though? We haven't mentioned that necessarily. Fiora into Gragas. In your opinion, who wins that matchup?
That one is going to be the Fiora just because as long as you save the riposte for Gragas' body slam, you are easily going to be able to stun him back. It is a large hitbox and something that is pretty telegraphed, so it's not something that Gragas could really try and sneak into a combo, and I feel like Boych Wonder is going to either have to rely on Zex to come up towards that top lane and help him out, or going to have to find some way to make Right Now to Faker waste the riposte so that he can go for a trade.
Yeah, and something very interesting here coming out from St. Olaf. 3 ignites. They have a triple ignite team being in top, mid, and support. That's very aggressive. No teleports on the entire team means that in the later stages of the game, I got to give it to Chicken Chasers. They're going to be able to rotate a little better. Also, Rek'Sai with his ultimate, being able to move around the map quickly. Gragas having teleport. They're going to be able to collapse objectives much better. Boych Wonder's going to have an easier time pushing. A lot of times with Fiora, you want her to be that split push pressure. But without teleport, she just can't join the team around Dragon if she's top side. She can't join it around Baron if she's bot side. So it's going to be a little more difficult for Right Nut to navigate the map. But if he can use that Ignite to get a sizable lead against the Gragas, as we already said, it's an advantageous matchup. This is just going to be the snowball of all snowballs. I mean, last Saturday, there was a tournament in St. Cloud. It wasn't affiliated with MNLCS, but we saw a matchup if you are in the Nautilus. A similar thing happened where it's Fiora into the tank. If she gets a couple kills, it just snowballs from there. So I think top lane is going to be one to watch. If Right Now to Faker can get a substantial lead over Boych Wonder, it's absolutely going to go in St. Olaf's favor. But if not, it's going to be a little struggle for them controlling the objectives.
Yes, and I completely agree. That's why I think the Flube and Wolfmeister would be very better off trying to roam and focus a lot of their resources, at least early parts of the game, into that top lane. And I think part of the reason why they want Right Now to Faker to go without teleport could be because comparing a late game Fiora to a late game Gragas in a team fight, the Gragas is going to be so much better that it may just be a little more efficient to focus all of Fiora's abilities into split pushing and not have her worry at all about joining the team fight. So that's where Right Now to Faker can just simply make sure that while he's split pushing, he can keep himself alive and always on top of those duels.
Yeah, now the Summoner spell, looking at it on the side of Chicken Chasers, that mid lane, Ahri taking Ignite makes a lot of sense. She wants to get aggressive, go all in, but Orianna taking Barrier instead of the Cleanse. This is something that a lot of players like to cleanse against the Ahri, and especially when there's a Sona on the enemy team also. That's just 2 members that you want to cleanse. What's your opinion on the Barrier instead of Cleanse as that option, or Ghost or something like that?
I would agree with you that the Cleanse or Ghost could have been a much better option here, because if you're not able to cleanse it with a good enough reaction time, you could at least probably try and dodge it with the Ghost, but the Barrier, I guess, would just be for more of avoiding the poke damage or, say, the all-in damage from Fiora or Xin Zhao, so it's more of a all-around summoner spell rather than for a specific lane matchup summoner spell.
Yeah, very true. And it's something interesting to note also is that these players, we do the bans in the actual client, the different software, but in this client, the League client, no one's actually spelled out anything with bans yet. We see Kindred, Aatrox, and Mumu, so Ka.
Kala. No. Both of them form together to go Kala.
Oh, true. Kala. Extra points to the first team in playoffs that spells something. Okay, keep it PG. but spell something fun. Maybe they could like communicate to each other of spelling a 6-letter word from across the screen.
Yeah, and meanwhile, are going into game.
Yeah, and this is going to be St. Olaf against Chicken Chasers in the first game of tonight's series. Best of 3. Is it going to be a sweep, or will we see 3 games? Last night, we were robbed with it only being a 2-game series. I want this one to go to 3. More entertainment, more fun to watch. For St. Olaf, we have Right Not a Faker top lane, DeFloob in the jungle with Wolfiemeister mid, and Wexler with Jim Raynor on that bottom side. Now for Chicken Chasers, Voich Wonder in the top lane with Zayax jungle, boosted 420 in the mid, and Gavin97 with Flez bot side. I believe Flez was a name change. I think I got that confirmation last week or 2 weeks ago, whenever that happened, and I was very confused. I wasn't sure if it was a substitute or not. I think they told me it was a name change, so Twitch chat, let me know if I'm correct with that. But either way, Jim Raynor, one of my top favorite. I mean, St. Olaf, everybody has a pretty good name. Right Not a Faker, one of the best. Jim Raynor, I don't know why, but I like that a lot. I say this every single cast, but we are going to have some kind of tournament where we all vote on the best 2 names for every position, and we make kind of like an all-star team, and we just play with just the best names.
Yeah, that would be a very fun thing to go with. We actually have it where we have quite a few skins going into here, and I know one thing you always like to look at is whichever team has more skins. And
DJ Soda, that's a pretty big skin.
Oh yes,
it's ultimate, right? Not legendary. It's a tier above legendary.
Yep, it's the ultimate.
Okay.
And it is one of the most beautiful skins in the game, in my own opinion. I own it as well. I always use it whenever I play Sona. It's incredibly fun. It adds music to the game. But one thing we have to look at is going to be the starting items. We can see that both top laners went with the more aggressive starting item, both Doran's items, suggesting that they want to go for more of trade and sustain.
Jim Raynor's giving us a show right now.
Yeah.
Showing off that skin. He deserves to. I mean, when you spend the bucks on that, or the crafting points on that, you deserve to get a little flashy in lane.
Yeah, and one thing I really want to know, though, is exactly what does DeFloob plan to do on the Zinzao? It's a champion we rarely ever see in the MNLCS, and overall, he's not really a champion that has a lot of outplay potential or extremely high skill cap. It's fairly straightforward. You charge in and you just whack people with your spear and hope to kill them. So the biggest thing that's going to really show a expression of skill here on DeFloob's side is going to be his jungle pathing, as well as his knowledge of exactly what he can do against a certain champion when in that straight-on fight.
Well, I mean, one thing to note, though, is he does look like Mr. Smith from The Matrix. Or Agent Smith, that's what it was, Agent Smith. So, if anything, that should give him outplayed potential. I mean, have you seen that movie?
Well, yes, but come on. There's only one person.
Dodging bullets, jumping around.
Yeah, but there's only one person in this game right now that's actually going to be throwing bullets at him.
True, and Gavin97, it's going to be difficult for Zinzao to dodge the Colleen. But, man, that'd be a pretty cool interaction if they had some kind of joke about that, like a voice dialogue line. But I do agree, the Zinzao, interesting pick, especially against the Rec side. We haven't seen this matchup maybe since Season 5, I want to say, in North American LCS. I know Xmithy was known for playing both these champs, and this is the level 2 power spike coming from the Caitlyn Sona, already bullying out Gavin97 under their turret. It's just going to be the story of the entire lane.
Yeah, that's exactly the same thing we were talking about during Champion Select. You have it where Caitlyn just outranges Lucian so hard that you kind of just lose by purely being poked out. The only way you can really try and deal with that is going through either Peel or through Sustain by having Flez just do what he can. But right now, what he's doing is not nearly enough. Meanwhile, in the top lane,
early gank already. Repose knocks away the knockup, but right now it has to flash away. DeFloob is on the top side as well. Both junglers going for a classic farm and then go top. In the meanwhile, on the bot side, Tornado does not land on a Wexler, but it might have gotten the kill. Zayax, so low. Might stay, though. Has no flash available, so it'd be a very dangerous time if he did.
Yeah, he ended up burning it in order to try and escape to Floob. He also burned Flash to try and catch out Zayax here. So overall, that was actually a pretty good play from the side of Right Not a Faker to make it so he could partially turn around that 2v1 and buy enough time for DeFloob to enter there. And now that Zayax has to back, DeFloob knows he has a lot of time to trust free farm, capture the Raptors on his own side as well as the Wolves, and get a decent experience or gold lead ahead of Zayax. Meanwhile,
Zayax, it's unfortunate because the Repose did stop the unburrowed knockup, and if he had been able to land that or just save it for after the Repose, I think that would have been a guaranteed kill onto Right Nut of Faker. So, yeah, I mean, good play from a lot of these players, specifically Right Nut, being able to pull that off and then roam towards his jungler. Wolfie Meister had boosted, just constantly duking that out in this mid lane.
yeah, and here's where we see that both junglers being on the bottom side of the map. Right now, there is only one ward in the actual bot side of the map, which is just one in the river. And that means that both junglers could try and go for a gank here. We have a Zayax could easily go for a lane gank. If his allies let him know that there is that ward in the river, he does spot it out using the scrying plants. And he may be looking towards mid lane instead.
He's going to see the Floob in that bush in the mid lane. If he keeps walking up there, actually, they're doing a dance. They're dancing around each other. Not going to meet, though.
Yeah.
And not a lot of action so far in the first 5 minutes.
Yes,
action, but nothing coming from it, I guess.
Yeah, we do see that very early pickup of the ward from Zayax as well, placing it down in the river, giving good vision, as well as picking up that Scuttle Crab. So kudos to him, gathering that early vision for his allies. This is around that perfect time where we would see ganks going on towards one of the lanes, and having most of that warding focused towards the lane that's going to get bullied heavily is very good for your team. Meanwhile, we can see that he's actually just sitting there, ready to go for a gank himself.
Yeah, he's ahead in farm and already getting the first back off, close to the full Tiamat. You got to think now. I would like to see him just continually farm the jungle, get that Tiamat, and then go for a gank, but he's patient. He's waiting for it to happen, going in. The aggressive plays from Gavin97 onto Jim Raynor. Flash, not available, just burned, actually. Means that he does get away in a failed gank bot. Now, what is Defloob going to do with this information? You got to go right into the top jungle of Zayax and take all that away from him. As a jungler, if you see the enemy jungle bot, you go to their top jungle because that's free farm. Yeah,
but at the same time, Zayax is also playing Rek'Sai, one of those champions that has very high mobility within the jungle as long as there is that tunnel system, so you don't want to take the chance of running into Zayax into his own jungle. Meanwhile, we do have it where that gank wasn't completely fruitless because they did burn the flash from Jim Raynor, as you mentioned, which is going to be huge for the fact that that means that he can no longer go up for that heavy poke without the safety net of his own flash. You'll have to wait until he's level 6 to where he could have the crescendo ready to try and help him out instead, which at that point, that would be an all-in rather than just poke.
Yeah, but the all-in potential very strong if they're able to land that, plus the traps coming in from Wexler. The Caitlyn Sona combo, pretty much any support that has CC combos well with Caitlyn, as long as the Caitlyn player is in range to drop the trap down. And there's Flez just opting to walk onto one, and I think it was actually underneath the tunnel from the wreck side. That's pretty tricky. I like the play.
From what it looks like, it was actually purposely walked. Oh, no?
Yeah.
Well, maybe.
Right there.
Yeah, that is a very sneaky area to put it. One of the best little tricks you can do with Caitlyn when you're going to place a trap is actually if you place it just behind the tower, you can place it in such a way where it is completely invisible to all the players in the game, but still able to get stepped on as long as the person walks behind the tower as well. It's kind of a cheating trap because it can...
I think we've all fallen for it before.
Yeah. It can zone the enemy out as long as they don't expect it, or if they do expect it, then you know for a fact that they'll never really walk towards that area in the first place. But we do have where both bot sides are going to be backing. We have Gavin97 starting to build up towards that Blade of the Ruined King, and once he finishes it, that'll be huge for his lane, just because he'll be having far more sustain than Wexler, which does mean that in the extended trades, he should win, and he is no longer susceptible to getting poked out.
Yeah, this is really good for the Lucian bot lane into the Caitlyn. I would have liked to see some more proactive play from Wexler and Jim, maybe calling for a gank bot so that they could have gone for an all-in, gotten an early kill. Because, yeah, at this point, once he has that Bilgewater Cutlass, the sustain is going to be so much stronger. It's going to be difficult for Caitlyn Sona to poke him out to the point where they could all-in him. So to Floob, I think missing a chance to be able to go bot lane and kind of snowball that, and now he is there, but spotted out by the ward. Gavin going in onto Wex, so the aggressiveness. Zayax is on the bot side. It's a party 3v3 exhaust onto Defloob. They're trying to get the damage, and the ultimate from Xin Zhao used to disengage the team fight, and 3 members from St. Olaf kind of limping away there.
Yeah, right after that, though, we do have a mid lane
And Wolfmeister taking a lot of damage. Shockwave did come in from boosted. Jim getting hit by the full calling. Gavin 97 picking up first blood. He wants another onto Wexler under the turret. The shields are there from Janna, but he can't quite sustain it. Deflube. Can you get away from Zayx? Flash out. Flez getting that kill. Give it to the support, but Wexler, you're in between a rock and a hard place. You're taking so much damage. Zayx getting healed up from Janna. Will be able to walk away safely. 3 kills now between the bottom members of Chicken Chasers. Really well played there.
Yeah, that was an amazing play right there. The biggest one to note is going to be Gavin using the calling from a safe distance to knock out Jim Raynor to where he couldn't get in Crescendo Rage to stop the calling. And then they immediately follow up, having it where Zayx is trying to keep Deflube away, knock him out solo, end up having the kill go over to Flez, just throwing 1 auto while he was under turret, and then just going for the clean dive to finish off Wexler, saving the Monsoon to make sure that Zayx could stay alive. So that was an excellent play coming in from the Chicken Chasers, and you have to wonder what they're going to be doing to capitalize on this.
Ooh, right out of Faker, under the turret from Boych Wonder, forced to flash away. Boych, you have flash available, but Repose from Fiora might stop the body slam. You got to play this well. Oh! And going for the body slam flash wombo combo, picking up that kill solo. Really, really good ultimate. Explosive cast knocking right back into the turret range was just a thing of beauty.
Yeah, that's what I love to see from the explosive cast. Not using them just for the damage, but also using them to position them in a place where they are forced to either fight you or die. At that point, we had right now to Faker burn the flash to try and escape. Forcing Boych Wonder also had to burn his own to secure the kill, but in the end putting a huge favor in his own lane. The fact that we mentioned that right now Faker should be able to win this lane if he doesn't play too proactively, more reactively to make sure they can have the Repose to stop the body slams. But instead, we now just have it where Boych Wonder is building himself up a lead, being 18 CS ahead, as well as a full kill right now.
Puts him 700 in the lead, but Jim getting engaged up by Gavin 97. There's the Colleen again. You just went through this. Able to get away with the crescendo, though. Movement speed gets you up, but Wexler actually going in instead of out, getting damage back onto Flez. Ace in the hole is going to get blocked by Gavin 97. And Summoner Spells, they just came up. Wexler and Jim, they get flash, immediately forced to use it defensively. And now Summoner Spell advantage. Gavin 97. This is the story. Just keep going in. You don't have to be afraid at all as Ignite is down onto Gavin 97. Might go down to Jim Raynor, but the shields from Flez keep him alive. And a double kill to the Illusion. The action will not stop as Boosted gets a solo kill mid lane. And Deflube, all you can do is try to clean up this farm, but you're going to be going down as well. Gavin going to be picking up another one, but nope, it's actually Flez. I was wrong. Top lane in the meantime. Is it a clean ace at 12 minutes into the game? The body slam lands, and they get the damage. And ace going over to the Chicken Chasers all around the map. 0-9. Is this going to be a perfect game?
I don't want to say that just yet. There is always a chance for a little bit of a throw from either team. But that overall was an extremely well played out, like just set of action from the side of the Chicken Chasers, especially in the bot lane and the top lane. I didn't really see at all what happened between Boosted and Wolfmeister, but
yeah, what was that?
The fact that we have a level 9 or 10 Orianna soloing an Ahri with their ultimate up was just astounding. Typically, with the Spirit Rush, you can easily dodge a Shockwave coming in from an Orianna, which should allow you to win the trade. But instead, we saw that Boosted was still able to get that off and completely decimate Wolfmeister. Meanwhile, on the bot lane, we had it where Gavin 97, again, used that calling to finish off Jim Raynor, not getting him down completely, but was able to later on by just, as you mentioned, completely going all in. This is the point in the game where, because of that Blade of the Ruined King, you have the sustain to withstand that poke, and as long as you are staying higher health than the Caitlyn or Wexler in this case, you are just going to be able to all in and win those trades heavily. Meanwhile, in Wexler's case, you're only going to win these if you can land those traps and get those nice headshot crits, but you don't have any crit chance right now in your build.
Well, Chicken Chasers just got an ace and 3 turrets all in a row. This is going to be such a hard game. I mean, we just said at the beginning during Pick and Ban that I honestly was going to give the team composition and the higher chance of winning the composition over to St. Olaf originally, but Chicken Chasers proving me wrong, saying, look, we don't need advantageous lanes. We just need to win the 1v1s, I guess, and the 2v2s. And these junglers actually putting pressure. Zyx doing a good job on that bot side. Jim Raider might be getting caught out now, though. Zyx is on top of him like bread on butter. Or butter on bread. I think I said that one wrong.
I mean, don't worry too much about the semantics. So what if you just looked like an idiot for a brief second?
Well, I think it actually is bread on butter. I think that's a term, and it's supposed to be kind of ironic because it's like the other way around. All right. You know what? Let's just say that I got it right, regardless of if I got it right.
I mean,
point is, Chicken Chasers across the board winning right now.
Yeah, our viewers can let us know whether or not you got it right. In the meantime, we still have a game to look forward to, which the biggest thing we can see right now is the Chicken Chasers utilizing their advantage in free time to develop a huge vision lead over St. Cloud. Just look at the way that the bottom side jungle is completely lit up with pink wards, as well as many other regular wards. You can see that Jim Raynor is doing what he can to try and clear them out. However, he has no pinks himself and is just using his sweeper. So only going to be able to get these two wards that we see right here.
And now a fight might be happening. Wolfmeister Spirit rushing out. But Gavin 97 flashing away. I don't know if he meant to auto attack. I think that was a situation where he's like, all right, just walk away. Oh, whoops, there's a jungle plant there. Forced to burn the flash to get out, but in the end, it does still seem like it's going to be Rift Herald going to the side of Chicken Chasers. The question is, who are they going to give it to? Are they going to give it to Boosted? Are they going to give it to Zyx? It is going to be Zyx. I like the choice. I mean, he's already the one roaming around the jungle, trying to get aggressive. And I think that he absolutely has a chance of 1v1ing to Flu. But talking about 1v1ing, this top lane right now, just getting level 10, but 2 levels behind Boych Wonder for a while there. Doesn't even have his Hydra finished. Whereas Boych Wonder has a 4-stacked Rod of Ages. This Gragas is doing massive damage for this stage of the game.
Yeah, and he doesn't even need gold to continue stacking up that Rod of Ages. All you need is time right now, which, honestly, the Chicken Chasers have a lot of time to spare. They are so massively ahead, roughly 8,000 gold right now, 3 towers and 9 kills, as well as having that Mountain Dragon for themselves, so their tower pressure is going to be immense, especially because they also have Orianna and Lucian, who are pretty good tower takers, if I must say. They also have Zyx and the Boych Wonder with Gragas also being pretty decent tower takers, with Boych Wonder building that ability power and looking for a quick little engage or trade.
Right, not a faker. Again, using the repose aggressively rather than defensively, but he was pretty close to the Gragas, but Gragas might just be able to go all in, not going to. I think it's wise. He doesn't have vision around. So even though he probably could have taken that 1v1, he didn't necessarily want to test the waters there.
Yeah, the only person that wasn't really certain of where he was on the map was going to be the Flube, and he may not be the biggest threat, but at the same time, any outnumber can be a threat, especially when you're not a champion that has a lot of big in-combat sustains, such as the big champions we'll see that are known and famous for those 2v1s are going to be Renekton, Darius, those juggernauts. Meanwhile, Gragas is more a battle mage. Not really big for 2v1ing, more great in team fights and working with his team to try and take everyone out.
Yeah, Shockwave onto Jim boosted. Getting a solo kill, just the shield from Fled getting him the assist, and Orianna doing massive damage to the Soda right now. Zyx forced to flash out of that turret range. Might be going down to Wex or Ace in the hole. Probably not going to be enough. It is not. And unfortunately, this Caitlyn just does not have the offensive stats right now to really make an impact in this game.
Yeah, and here's where we can see that right now, the way that support itemization has been prioritized towards the Enchantresses is not exactly favorable, especially when you are behind, because Boosted right now, having that Morellonomicon completed, is going to be doing immense amounts of mid-game damage, as we just saw. And the itemization for supports right now calls for a lot of mana regeneration and cooldown reduction, rather than self-defensive resistances, making it so that you are such a squishy target, especially on one such as Sona.
Yeah, I gotta think that this is a game where obviously St. Olaf are not out yet. They gotta keep figuring out how do they play, how do they capitalize on mistakes maybe made from Chicken Chasers. But this is the point where you're already thinking in your head as a player, what do we do next time? Like, what do we do for this next game? Whether we win or we lose, they're clearly struggling right now. So what are they going to do towards the next pick and ban? What do they need to take off the table? Maybe they need to take off the Lucian, as Caitlyn typically, again, as I said, is seen as a counter to the Lucian. But Lucian was still able to win that lane. And that just doesn't feel good when you're supposed to be the one to win the lane match.
Yeah, I think another one that could have really helped. Oh, never mind. We may be seeing a dive in the next minute or so here.
So in the mid lane, Wolfiemeister get out to boost and actually picks up the kill. I thought he bit off a little more than he could chew, but chaining the charm and so much damage from Foxfire and Spirit Rush. Beautifully played from the Ahri. And actually picking up the first kill for the team. It's not a perfect game for Chicken Chasers anymore.
Yeah, and we actually see that Boosted kept the barrier up, not going to be using it himself to try and stay alive. Probably assumed that he was going to be dead either way because there was still the Foxfire as well as the Orb of Deception possible to be used from Wolfiemeister. And we have it where Dragon is going to be up in just a second here. It's going to be a Cloud Dragon being picked up for the side of the Chicken Chasers, which will really help them. As we mentioned before, they already have people such as Zyx, who is going to be great at roaming around the map. And this will only help them try and rotate from one objective to the next. So I really like this.
And yep.
Go ahead.
Okay, all I was going to say is the Sona pick with the Caitlyn, such a strong lane combo, but the Sona is kind of a tricky champion to play. At first glance, she seems really easy, not very mechanically intense. And actually, I'll get back to that as Right Nuts trying to get the 1v1 on the Boych Wonder, but I had a question. Is he actually going to win that? Okay, back to the Sona, though. Seems like a very low mechanical skill champ to begin with. You just kind of poke down, try to do as much damage as you can in lane from a range. But actually, there's a lot that goes into choosing what ability to empower. Every third spell, she gets a special empowerment. And the most useful by far, and the one that, in my opinion, makes her a very strong support, is the W. If you're able to shield your team, heal up the next person nearest to you, you also get a basically an exhaust passive with the shockwave onto Jim, burning the Sona ultimate, but doesn't get anything for it. Getting caught out of position. And it's just been happening a lot on this Sona right now. Right out of Faker, you don't see that there's 3 members. There's the Repose. The parry is in, but are you actually going to be able to get out? Boosted, trying to get the damage, taking a lot of turret shots out. The Flube is on to you. Wolfiemeister, Spear rushing in, lands the charm. This is actually the turnaround that St. Olaf needs. They might be able to win this fight finally. They picked up 1. Can they get more, though? And unfortunately, Gavin97 finally joins the fight. The charm lands onto him, but still fairly safe. Flez hitting the trap. Can the team take it up? Zyx very low, and flash in from Wolfiemeister gets the kill onto Zyx. Gavin97, you're way too far forward. Charm lands. He goes down to the Xin Zhao, and Flez forced to flash away. No summoner spells available for any members now on the side of Chicken Chasers. And St. Olaf beautifully turned that around. Jim was able to get back up even. Still no assist, so that's a bummer.
I really want to question why they not immediately go for that Baron. They had already got all the members down. They even had Zyx down, and every single member on their team was up at that point. Why not go for the Baron?
You got to think that they just don't trust that they can do enough damage to take it fast enough. They would have had to clear a lot of vision. Actually, no, they do have a lot of vision around the Baron, so I kind of agree with you here. I would have liked to see them at least try it. That none of their waves around the map are really pushing in towards them in a dangerous position, so kind of a missed opportunity from St. Olaf there.
Yeah, but we do have it where right now, because of that big fight, there was some gold given back towards the side of St. Olaf, and they are able to slowly come back because of this. We have a Wolfiemeister is now sitting at 3-1-1. The person who was behind in his own lane before has now really caught up, not necessarily in farm, but in kills at least. And he is now only sitting at 1,400 gold behind his opposing laner, which, as an Ahri, right now, since you are behind, you want to play far more as a kite mage style rather than an assassin. But we can see that Wolfiemeister is able to pull that off beautifully at the moment.
Yeah, and having the most gold on his team, the best stat line as well, they got to really play around him. He's the only one that can really do damage. And now they're going to be just losing turrets around the map. Gavin97. That's a struggle when you're a Lucian trying to siege a Caitlyn, is you got to get close enough. Zyx flashing in on Burrow, damage onto Wexler, but the team is there as well, chaining the CC. Janna keeping the Rek'Sai alive just long enough. Boych Wonder picking up that kill. Coley comes in, picks up 1. Can he go for another diving under turret? Double kill to Gavin97 as Boosted tries to go for another 1v1 onto Wolfiemeister in the mid lane, and this is going to be bottom turret going down, maybe even the inhibitor. And this is what happens right now when you don't take teleport. You're forced to back from the top side. You can't be that split push pressure because you can't join the team fights. And mid now getting pushed in as well, boosted 420. One Q doing that much damage. It's just a little disheartening when you're the side of St. Olaf Charm barely going wide. And Chicken Chasers just calculated. They go bot, they go mid. Gavin 97 might be biting off more than he can chew though. I think they need to back off from this inhibitor, call it good. Oh! But Oriana getting so much damage onto the side. St. Olaf. The question is, what's Chicken Chasers going to do next? They're in the driver's seat. Bot lane is going to be pushing in with supers. They got to be looking to get this Baron pretty soon here.
Yeah, the next few waves are going to be coming in with super minions. They can easily allow that to push up, have someone, which no one on the side of St. Olaf, remind you, has teleport, as you just mentioned a second ago. So they could easily allow someone to go down there, have to deal with the minions, and then make that call to go for the 5v4 Baron attempt, which will be in their favor. They right now have far more gold, and they will have a numbers advantage. So it's essentially guaranteed that they will be either given it, or they will be able to get a fight for it that will be in their favor, to where if St. Olaf wants to go for that 5v5 retaliation, they will be forced to have to deal with the minions at their own base instead.
And Zayag's using the ultimate to get into that Baron pit. He's a little far forward though. The team wasn't quite all there, but getting onto the Flube, the Unburrow, the damage coming in from Oriana, Shockwave that followed with the Rex side. They're there. Gavin jumping out, but they already picked up the first kill. Jim Raider getting caught out. There is the ultimate. Oh ho ho! The full AP Gragas explosive cast just destroys the Sona. And now what do Chicken Chasers go for next? No turret on this inhibitor.
They could easily try and go for the end here. They have a Roar Wave of Super Minions is about to crash into the tower again to help them out. And they're about to be taking this inhibitor, but it looks like they just want to back off instead rather than trying to go for more. Dragon is about to be up. Baron is still up. They could easily go for one and then the other, or just go for the Baron itself and not worry about the Dragon at all.
I mean, you could say that this is a mistake. They should go for the 5v3. But I honestly don't know if they would have been able to end the game. They didn't have explosive cast. They didn't have Shockwave. And that's really a lot of the CC and the team fight initiation and engage that they have. So I think it's wise saying, look, we're not going to end the game anyway. Best we'll get is a Nexus turret. It's better to just take Baron back, spend our gold, get our cooldowns back, and then win the game next push. So arguments to be made for both plays, but I agree with this one first.
Yeah, and right now, I'm actually very excited to see this build that we're seeing from Boych Wonder. He is going a lot of heavy damage, but mostly with that hybrid build that we'll see from people such as, well, okay, add the Roa to a Rumble build and you'll see it then, but it is it's still a very tanky build for this Gragas while allowing him to build plenty of damage as well.
The question, though, he has the Sheen. It might be going into Lich Bane, honestly, as he has an Amplified Tome next. Typically, we see the Gragas find some armor. If you get the Lich Bane or the Sheen, it'll usually go into that Iceborne Gauntlet. But he's just going full AP. He's doubling down right now, saying, "Look, I can carry the team as Gragas." And turrets are just falling around the map. Super's in the mid lane and bot side. Dragon is up, but Chicken Chasers don't even need to tend the.
I think part of this is just because Boych Wonder is now so far ahead, he doesn't have to worry too much about it. Speaking of...
the initiation, Shockwave, transfer complete. The Flube gonna be going down, but actually not quite. Zyg's just getting the kill. Right now, onto the backline. This is exactly where Fiora needs to be. Really well played there, getting to the position that you need, but Gavin just deleting Jim Raider. Wolfie Meister's gonna be the next to fall, taking the full culling to the face. Triple kill to Gavin 97. He wants to make it a quadra, but nah. He might just end the game instead, but actually right nuts, stopping the waves from coming in. Doesn't even matter. There's supers on the bot side. You're the only member up, and this has got to be game going over the Chicken Chasers, unless right nuts somehow pulls a miracle. But now just starting his back. The Nexus is falling. Chicken Chasers. I said that I was confused by the draft, the laning choices, but they're proving me wrong. Taking game number 1 in the series against St. Olaf. They're technically, again, they're so close, but St. Olaf was seeded higher, so this would technically be considered an upset.
Yeah, but at the same time, they are in their full frontal face-off, 1-for-1 now. So it is back on even grounds. And just going over that game, the very first thing you have to mention is going to be the fact that the bot lane style that St. Olaf was trying to go for that game did not work out for them at all. They wanted to go for that heavy bully lane to try and force Lucian away. They were never able to actually execute on it the way that they were thinking to.
Well, it should have worked out with the Sona The issue I saw is Jim Raynor definitely seemed like he wasn't that comfortable on it. More often than not, all he did was use his Q, empower his auto with that so he could get more damage. What he should have been doing is empowering his W auto attack because it reduces the damage dealt by the enemy AD carry by 25% for 3 full seconds. On a Lucian, that's a lot of damage that he's losing over that time, and that's why they kept losing those all-ins. Jim was just trying to do damage, but if he had taken away damage from Lucian, I think that maybe they would have been able to turn it around a little better. So Jim, I like the pick of Sona, but you got to just understand how the champion works and how to play it into the Lucian matchup. I've been playing a lot of Sona lately, so that's the only reason I know this. I'm not an expert on supports, but I do love Sona. So I got to say that I think the lane should still have one. It was just played a little questionably.
Yeah, but now we are going to be having it where we need to get ready for game number 2 here in just a second. We'll be saying that.
First, we got to give it to who gets player of the game. Come on.
Oh, fair points. I am definitely giving that to Gavin97. I don't know about you, but play on Lucian was completely beautiful. The next best person I'd want to give it to is Boych Wonder. Being able to play into a lane that typically, from at least a statistical standpoint, I would see that as a losing lane towards the Gragas, but Boych Wonder was able to turn that around and really make it in his favor by forcing Right Now to Faker to use his riposte more aggressively rather than defensively, and that allowed him to be open to go for those full trades where Gragas is going to have the favor of.
You know what? This is going to be the first time ever that I've ever done this, I think, but I'm going to give it to Flez, the support. I mean, again, there's good points to be made for the other players, but Flez having the best kill participation on his entire team, as well as not dying a single time on Janna. And if you look at the charts, he healed more than Sona. A Janna that doesn't have heal in her kit except for the ultimate was actually able to heal more than the Sona by over double. That's incredible.
The biggest thing was redemption.
Yes, and but things like that is like Janna with redemption and the ultimate still I don't think should be healing more than the Sona. So I think that I'm going to give it to the support, not dying a single time, having the highest kill participation, as well as just really good stats overall. But again, I respect the Gavin97 and Boych Wonder pick. But as you said before, we're going to take a very short break and then get back into this next game as quickly as possible. One more round with that 5 pick and ban. Maybe one more round. Hopefully 2 more, though. And we'll see if St. Olaf is able to pull something out of their hats this time, most likely in the pick and ban phase. So don't go anywhere, and we will be right back.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Minnesota LCS. I'm here alongside my top laner,
Hi there.
the one and only One Trick Poppy,
What?
showing his skills in MNLCS games from the past. And I am
You are the one and
number
only.
one ADC in the MN Minnesota League.
Is that a fact?
Daddy.
Is that a fact?
100% fact. Twitch chat will meme it with it. 100%.
Sick intro, Dewey. Okay. In all seriousness, this is going to be game number 2 between the UMD Chicken Chasers and St. Olaf. We are looking at the picks and bans right now in the 5-ban or the 10-ban system. So we see the Gragas first pick already coming off, which we did see last game as well. So no surprise to see that taken again. Quite a few pocket bans coming out just because these teams know each other really well. And Darius and Ari locked in pretty quickly for St. Olaf there. What do you think about that, Dewey?
I mean, I don't know too much about the Darius Gragas matchup, but I do know Ari is rising in priority lately. I think she's an incredibly safe laner. As long as you get to 6, you can survive any ganks. Lucian Karma coming out for the bot lane and for UMD, that's very potent lane. It allows Lucian to go a lot aggro, and Karma is able to poke him down as well. Is that a Sejuani I see?
Yeah, I don't know if that's hovered or locked in yet in this thing, but
That's
it looks like it's locked in. Holy.
All right, so Gunday Monday, one of my best friends, is a Sejuani god. He has 1 million master points on Sejuani, so I know the ins and outs from his stream. And she is complete crap.
I can probably agree without having played or seen a Sejuani in any of my games for the past couple years. I can still agree with you there. What do you think the itemization is coming out for Sejuani? I don't really see much. I just imagine you kind of go into Cinderhulk and then, like, I don't know.
Leandri's is potent on her. I think going complete full tank Sedge it's a little tough because you just simply are an alt bot at that point. And if you're able to get Leandri's and maybe a few tank items, you're able to brawl a little bit better because you do a little more damage.
I could definitely see that. I'm pretty sure the last time I played Sejuani, I just kept like field goaling all of her ults, so it made me a little more useless than she already is. I don't know.
Yeah.
But we're seeing the final round of ban phase coming out here. Caitlyn and Cog being banned out by UMD, so it's pretty clear that they're trying to get a favorable lane for this Lucian Karma, which I believe it was them that ran the Lucian Janna lane last game, right? So they're really favoring that Lucian pick, and it is going to be Twitch locked in for St. Olaf. You play the bot lane pretty often. I know you main support, and now you made AD, and now you main support for a team. So, what do you think? What do you think about that matchup, Lucian versus Twitch?
Pretty tough for Twitch here. I will say to outscale the Lucian and absolutely dump on him if he gets a little bit ahead in lane, but into a Lucian Karma, I don't see that happening. Lucian's going to be able to use his mobility to get on top of Twitch, and Karma's going to be able to shield Lucian. So I'd like to see a shielding support here for Twitch, but I don't know which one he could get because Lulu's banned here.
Yeah, it seems to me already that St. Olaf has kind of a conflicting composition with itself. Ooh, Rocket locked in there, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, so that is going to be the final comps there. We have on the side of UMD, Gragas, Lucian, Karma, Orianna, Lee Sin versus St. Olaf's Darius in the top lane, Ari in the mid lane, Sedge jungle, Twitch, Soraka bot lane. So, opting for a bit more sustain in the bot lane. I think that was definitely a big point of contention in the last game was that bot lane. So, makes sense that they would want to go for something pretty standard, pretty safe if you're able to stay alive on the Rocket at least.
Yeah. What do you think the game plan for each of these teams are going to be going into this game 2?
I think UMD has an extremely well-balanced comp. They have a pretty good damage spread in terms of AP versus AD. And they also have, pretty good ball delivery system. Orianna, Lee Sin, a pretty classic combo.
Definitely.
And Karma, obviously one of the strongest team supports right now because of how strong the Mantra E is, and also with how strong the support items are right now. If you get Redemption and Locket, you're pretty much set on any support now. And then for St. Olaf, I do have a few questions about how much synergy it really has with itself, because you do have some long-range engage, but getting Darius in range to really do anything has always been a problem in my opinion. I think Darius is extremely easy to kite, but will have some split push pressure at least if UMD doesn't kind of bite the bullet early there and try to get the Grogs ahead again.
Definitely. Yeah, I do see St. Olaf. I think that Darius needs to pop off and be a presence in his own lane. In team fights, I don't see him doing anything. He's just going to get rooted by Karma. Gragas is going to knock him away. Lee Sin can kick him away. It's going to be incredibly hard for him to team fight. I will say Sedge can allow him to get a massive pullback or something like that, but UMD has, an actual, meta comp that really meshes well together. But St. Olaf has it's a little wishy-washy, but I will say Twitch can hard carry a game, any game, so do not count St. Olaf out.
So compositional advantage-wise, you're going to go with UMD here? Dewey?
100%. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with that as well. Obviously, these things... Actually, we are locked in now, so we have some interesting summoner choices coming out of Wexler and Jim Raider. What do you think about the barrier and then the heal on support?
I think that's some next level stuff. That's some next level stuff. I mean, if I was Twitch, I would probably take Ignite, I'll be honest.
If you were opting for a non-meta summoner choice, you mean?
Yes. I just feel like barrier here. I suppose it could work, but if he gets CC'd, he's just pretty much dead regardless. I feel like, but we'll see how it plays out in the bottom lane. I do like having Rocket with the heal, just because you get that 10%, with wind speakers. So I think that's smart. But it's important that you're able to communicate and have that chemistry with your lane partner, because I don't think supports are used to healing their AD carries with a summer spell. Am I right?
Yeah, I think that would indicate that they've either practiced this or they have a lot of trust in each other in the bot lane for St. Olaf. But again, I mean, there's a big problem here that we need to talk about, which is the lack of teleport on St. Olaf. Once again, they ran, I believe, no teleport last game as well. So, I mean, I think in the current meta, that decision is a huge risk for the early game. And I think the casters last game talked a little bit about how, again, it's going to be a risk for, St. Olaf picking an extremely early game composition that needs to get ahead and get kills and kind of snowball their advantage. Otherwise, having that split push pressure in the mid to late game is such a big aspect of competitive play now that I think opting out of TP in the top lane it's really going to put pressure on Red Knight of Faker to kind of make things happen. Otherwise, it's going to really be a problem for them once they get out of the lane phase.
Yeah, definitely. Would you say that it's like equally as bad not taking TP, or is the early game worse because like if you die you can't TP back to lane, or is it worse if you don't have TP late game where you can like rotate on the map a little bit? What do you think is going to hurt them the most without that summoner?
I think the biggest problem is that it looks like St. Olaf's picked a kind of a team composition that wants to group up and fight. And I just think that the fact that the Darius isn't taking TP on a champion that already has a lot of problems in the team fight scenario is just going to kind of augment that problem for them. It's going to be a huge problem if you look at the fact that Gragas can just go for TP flanks pretty much constantly. And there's very little peel for the Twitch as it is. And then on the other side, I mean, so much mobility on the side of UMD that how is a Darius really going to actually deal any effective damage in a team fight? I think really it's going to be it's basically St. Olaf putting all their eggs into the Darius push basket. Sejuani and the Darius push, yeah. But yeah, you want to introduce the teams here real quick as we get into load screen here?
Load first, though.
Are you telling me you don't know everyone's names and champions by heart?
I'd like to say I do, but the league has changed so much from last year. It's crazy. There's new teams popping up left and right. Teams are subbing in players in and out. It's honestly, this league is flourishing. I'll be honest. It's great to watch it, and I do watch it every week, and it's enjoyable. It's a great production.
You're better than me because I couldn't even remember what role you played for our BTM team.
What, dude?
All right, now we're in. You want to give us a quick intro onto these players?
We got the UMD Chicken Chasers with the Boich Wonder on the Gragas top side, Colossus. We got Zayx on that Lee Sin. Look at that pool party lead. Don't you guys want to be somewhere like that? And then we got Soon Chaos Oriana with that boosted 420 and Amigos tag. Hey! 97 on that Lucian pick, just like last game. We saw it pop off. Will he pop off again? We got Karma support with Flez. And St. Olaf. We got the right nut of Faker. Oh, man. We got Poro Rider Sejuani, probably the best Sej skin with D Floob 22. We got Wolfie Meister mid lane. Wexler bot lane with that Twitch. And we got Jim Raynor on Soraka, throwing bananas left and right. This is going to be great. I can't wait to see Jim Raynor just get zerged over, though. Jeez.
Yeah, I'm expecting a super fun game here, mainly because, like we said, St. Olaf opting for a hugely early game-centric composition, running some unconventional things. We got, the Ghost Grasp top lane for right now Faker. We also have the heal barrier down for Wexler and Jim Raynor, which I'm really interested to see. And really early on, we're already seeing a few pings down. It looks like St. Olaf's just trying to secure, maybe just fan and play safe off the level 1. Again, this is an early game composition for them, so any kind of level 1 shenanigans would be a big risk, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so we can see line of scrimmage being set up.
30 seconds until
UMD favoring the bot side a bit more.
Gragas going back up top here. I'd say that's a little risky. I mean, if red side invaded their, blue team, UMD's jungle, blue side, he'd be dead right now. But quick question: what do you think about Darius with Grasp? I thought Colossus was kind of like the thing to do nowadays.
Grasp definitely better for the 1v1.
Okay.
As it is, it's kind of similar to like using it on Jarvan or other melee bruisers, but
Okay.
The Floob going for the race start, which I like a lot. I think right now in the current jungle meta, if you don't go race, you're just putting yourself behind. If the other jungler is able to somehow secure the Raptor camp with a leash from their top laner or their mid laner, as we see them setting up for it here on the side of St. Olaf. So I like that a lot. But, Lee Sin's path is pretty standard. You usually go buff camp, buff and then look for something. So
Sejuani is going to look to be hard farming, most likely. You really want to just hard farm until you're 6. So getting that pathing down is key for Sejuani, and starting Raptors is great. And so here we got top lane. Greg is throwing out some barrels.
yeah, I'm thinking that, like you said, the Sedge is probably going to be looking to power farm for 6, and the Lee's looking to gank for sure. So, I mean, where do you think these junglers are going to meet up? At what point, if any?
I think it matters. It's going to revolve around the Lee Sin. We'll see if he wants to go aggressive. I really think he should. It's a Sejuani. She's already half health in her jungle, so Lee Sin should be able to push the aggression here.
Yeah, she does have the Biscuit Mastery with 3 pots though, so I like that a little bit. Clearly, she's they've played that champion before and kind of known what resources we need to put in to get her safely through the jungle clear. It looks like Zayek's going for a pretty aggressive invade, but he's not going to find Sedge at all. Might wrap around for the gank top lane, which, I mean, Red Out of Faker is playing pretty safe. I think he has a lot of tools to get out of a gank, should it happen, but then again, Lee is like extremely potent early, so.
Yeah. I'm really liking these trades bottom for St. Olaf. They're utilizing Soraka's heal, and I think that Soraka pick was the counter to Gavin's Lucian, because Gavin is going in aggressively a lot, and Soraka's able to just heal the Twitch up over and over again, and Gavin's going to keep getting poked down. So I really like these trades that are coming out bottom side for St. Olaf.
Yeah, Zayek's wrapping around thinking about going top there, but is spotted by a ward, and he's pretty low HP, so not looking for anything yet.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, 3:30 into the game, pretty standard opening, I think. No one going for anything too aggressive, and Deflube he's gotten to a pretty solid point for the Sedge, honestly. Like, you're pretty happy if you're playing a kind of farm-oriented jungler and you're able to get a full first clear, get level 4 with double buffs, and secure the scuttle and maybe look to base here soon.
Bot side, let's see if he wants to make a little move here. It's going to be a very tough gank with this. Oh! Karma's going aggressive. We see the silence. Here comes the Twitch.
Might burn a
Poison.
flash here.
Sejuani turning on to Karma. Throwing bananas. Ooh, okay, we got to heal down. I would say that's worth.
Yeah, it does give up his location, and thus a little bit of map pressure, but he's probably looking to base anyways here, so I definitely don't hate that move out of him there. Oh, he's actually wrapping around for it again with the blast cone.
Wrapping around for me. Oh, Lee Sin and Sedge look like they're going to meet here. See what's going on.
Ooh, whiffs the Q there. Not bad. I mean, Deflube is actually still a level up on the Lee, which is something you wouldn't expect, really. But it kind of comes down to both the junglers wasting a little bit of time, not being fully efficient there in the early game. And, I mean,
getting the better side of the trade.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, more farm-oriented, and not
trade
even opting it back yet.
Oh! First Blood comes in for boosted 420. That Ignite paid dividends. Ari trading, thinking that Ori was out of mana, but guess what? Ori's got them empowered autos. They hurt real bad.
Yeah, interesting to note there that neither mid laner burned flash. Boosted was able to just walk up kind of auto and throw an Ignite down, so it didn't look like Wolfie Meister respected how strong Orianna's autos are early. But yeah, it's gonna start to swing the matchup a little bit, because on Ari you really want to be ahead when you hit level 6, so you can go for those aggressive all-ins, and that's just gonna be kind of setting back her power spike in terms of the 1v1 mid lane.
Definitely, that's a great point. We do see that Infernal Drake is the first Drake. We can't forget that. We'll see if these junglers are going to be playing towards bottom side again. Top side's pushing in. Right Knight of Faker looks like he's got lane pressure.
Yeah, I do see a little bit of problem now with the Sedge decision making coming out of Deflube, because it's 6 minutes in the game. He's gone for basically 1.5 full clears and still hasn't backed yet. So, I mean, Zayek's has such a huge item advantage now that if they find each other, it's just going to be bad news. As we do see a little bit of it coming in here. Wolfie Meister is 6 now, though.
Yep.
I think if I'm Deflube here, I just want to recall, like, instantly. Like, she has so much gold on her right now.
Looks like she's going to clear bottom side, which I think she'll probably get 6 from that, which will be nice to have. But I agree, she needs to get back because she's allowing Lee Sin just to kind of do what he wants because he knows he's stronger.
Other than that first blood in the solo kill mid lane, though, we have to say that this is a much better early game, I think, coming out of the side of St. Olaf. You know, it is still pretty early in the game, but their bot lane's clearly doing much better. Wexler now being able to get that BF sword. They still have all 4 summoners down there, so they're definitely doing better for themselves than last game, where Gavin 97, I imagine, was much further ahead.
Yep. Looks like this mid lane is just gonna get very spicy. Ooh. Here comes the Orianna Shockwave. One more auto.
Oh.
Ooh, not one more auto. Very close.
Yeah. Meanwhile, though.
Flash. Ahri doesn't flash.
Yeah. Meanwhile, though, Zayax using the item advantage he had there from that early base to his advantage and securing the early Infernal Drake with the help of his bot lane. They do have 2. Yes, UMD did have 2 pink wards there in the bot side, so pretty safe take there for them. And again, I mean, on the Soraka lane, you're not going to have nearly as much lane control as you would with kind of a harass support, so didn't have an opportunity to push out.
Yep. Top lane trading, Darius is able to get the pull back. I don't think he'll do the kill here because the guy is just going to ult him away. Gavin going aggressive on Soraka, the silence comes out. Exhaust on Twitch. And look at that. There's the Raka. Just going to heal that boy up over and over.
Yeah, a favorable trade going there again for UMD in the bot side there. But what I want to mention now is that top lane kind of interaction we saw there is really good, is kind of a preview for what we're going to see later in team fights. The Gragas has so much ability to control the Darius among other tools that UMD has. I really don't see Renata Faker ever being able to become relevant in a team fight unless there's just a huge misplay of, you know, like Gavin 97 walking melee range to him. Yep. And it's going to be a big problem as we see kind of a gank posturing mid lane here.
Yep, we got a gank. We got a flash coming out of Sedge. Lee's coming. Charm lands. Oh, that's a dead Orianna, or is it? Lee kicks out. Which ults? Okay, looks like it's just going to be one kill there. It was well executed. Sedge just flashing on him and getting that kill.
Yeah,
or he was not able to shockwave either.
Yeah, a lot of pressure. Well, I think it might have still been down from her all-in mid lane. Worth noting that she did burn the ultimate and her flash before that exchange when she tried to go for the all-in on Wolfie-Meister. Yep. So didn't have those resources available. But, I mean, Deflube kind of executing that well, you know, hitting all of his abilities on Sedge. Has to feel pretty good. Even
with that Ruby Crystal sight stick build, he's still popping off. I'm loving it. I'm loving the Sedge pick. It's gonna be the game winner, I guarantee you.
Some reasonably high CS leads now building for the side of UMD, but now we have to look at the gold total and be like, oh well. St. Olaf's only down 300 gold, and that has to definitely do with the kills that we just saw over there, as well as kind of the fact that they're definitely not that far behind on the map. Like, they still have a pretty stable early game coming out of them, which we'd expect to see, but this does kind of put a timer on the game, I think, because if you have an early game composition, you opt for so many early game decisions, and you're not ahead in gold by the 10-minute mark, you have to be questioning a little bit, you know, how stable is our mid game going to be? And we're going to definitely have to see and kind of track how that goes. But, I mean, for right now, the Grog is doing extremely well on the top side, not dropping too much farm, getting all into a little bit. But again, there's very little kill pressure from right now to Faker on both the Grogus and anyone else in the game, I think. It's going to come down to whether UMD is going to be able to make use out of that pick in the side lane.
Oh, definitely needs to get some wards, but we got a gank up top. Force the Gragas flash. What is Sedge all coming through? But look at that. Here comes the Gragal, pushing him away. Darius flash on. Dunk down. Each Wonder going down to the right nut of Faker.
Just as I say that he was playing safe. He gets double flashed on, double ulted. I mean, it doesn't feel too bad for him, though, because that was a lot of resources spent on just that kill top lane. It is a tank matchup, so it's not going to mean too much once we get a little bit further into the game. He does miss a wave on tower, but As a
Pretty
top
much.
laner, you're still, you're still much more useful in the team fight setting, especially when you have your teleport available as like Gragas.
Say Saint Olaf. Saint Olaf's vision is pretty piss poor here. You know, I see one sight ward out there, and that's about it. I really and here we go. Here comes a gank. Lee Sin. Ooh, nice flash by Raka, preemptively flashing Lee's kick and flash. So that was very clean by Raka.
Yeah, we saw the silence from Jim Raynor there, kind of screwing up Zayx's combo that he would have liked to go for there.
Yep.
And it's actually kind of an unsung hero for how for Raka's utility. That silence makes a huge difference, especially when you're going for really mechanic intensive plays like the one that Zayx just went for there.
I agree with that. It's like I said, just clearing out a little bit of vision over there. Just missed a ward, but I think it's important that you get some vision down on this dragon over here. Or else it's gonna lose control.
Yep, definitely a good point to talk about the vision around this dragon pit, because I mean it did already net the side of Saint Olaf, or the side of UMD, that first Infernal already, which is even gonna further kind of put UMD in a bad mid game spike, because they as we see
Send going on. Sedge here, he's gonna be gone. Yep. He even tries to hit the blast cone but fails to. In his dying breath, that poor O just got cut apart. Oh! Boosted 420! What was that? Destroying Wolfie. When is Wolfie gonna use his flash? Come on, man.
Yeah.
Let's go. I need some clean flashes out of that Oriole. Ooh, Twitch. Ulting. Gets instantly
Nice
exhausted.
silence.
Can the Rocket heal through it? Ooh, he's gonna get a big sponge. Boom! There's one. Can Wexler flash on it?
Oh. I think he lives there, but Lee Sin's here now.
Has been destroyed.
Here. He has kick. Kicks Raka. Misses the Q. This. Oh, okay. Zach's able to just. Okay, there's going to be a trade of kills. Red buff on Twitch.
Yeah, wow. A really big series of plays there going around that dragon area. Again, kind of due to the lack of vision from UMD, they come out a little bit behind, but a good play by Wexler and Jim Raynor to get 2 kills back there. And now as we see the team comps developing kind of more into the mid game, as we see the second Infernal coming up, it's going to be a big point of contention. And Wexler having already the Hurricane is going to be kind of the biggest win condition, I think, for the side of St. Olaf. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, 100%. It's a great item to have this early. Allows you to have lane control like they were missing, and allows you to just pop off in these tight team fights around these dragons or things like that. It's very important to have.
Yeah, so UMD posturing for control on the Dragon Pit. They actually do have the majority of control here, but again, we see this problem because, the Gragas is already here, and Darius with no teleport needs to walk all the way down the map. Dragon already dropping extremely low.
Yeah, they're starting Dragon. Lee's going to be able to get it. Gragas is keeping... Ooh, 4-man Sedge ult. Can the team follow up, though? Ori
What's
only
on the
lands
side?
I'm boosted. Twitch is popping off over here, but I think he overstepped his bounds. Goes down. And look, here comes the Darius with no TP. Tried to make it in there, but he wasn't able to get there fast enough. And that's going to be a 2 for 0 with a Dragon for
Probably the bot tower as
UMD.
well.
And a bot tower.
Yeah, and we saw exactly what we were talking about earlier in terms of the team fight interactions between both of these teams. I mean, it's pretty much up to Wexler to deal all of the damage for his team, and one positional misstep like we saw in that last fight is gonna really be the make or break, I think, for UMD. And then on the other side, we just saw how easy it is to play around that Darius. Even when right at Faker pops Ghost, he's just like so easy to kite. He's so easy to kind of control. And these are the problems that are going to manifest themselves for both teams later on.
Yep. Zayx getting converged on. Ooh, nice little root there from Raka. Kicks Raka over to Lucian. What a clean play by Zayx. Just picking apart St. Olaf right now.
Yeah, really good positional awareness by Zayx. That's something I like to see on Lee Sin's, is just knowing, where your team is, where the follow-up is. Because, we think of Lee Sin as this really solo kind of playmaking champion, but it really does come down to how well your team's able to play around you and react to the plays you're trying to execute. And a really good heads-up play by Zayx there. So we see a Siege coming out down into the mid T2. Flash coming down.
Gragas flash on the Ori. Ori ult comes out. This is clean play from UMD, pushing the advantage as fast as possible. Looks like they're getting a reset phase. right after that tower take.
Yeah, boosted 420, just kind of dominating Wolfiemeister in the mid lane this game. In a matchup that actually I don't think is too much Orianna favored, but that solo kill early definitely swung the matchup extremely hard.
Looks like we don't see Right Knight of Faker trying to, push the advantage topside. I think he was over there taking like Krugs or something when their whole team was mid. I'd like to see him, push that tower and try to get some towers down for the team.
Right, and this is the big problem again. Right out of Faker, we see him having more than a 35 CS lead on the top side, but it just doesn't mean that much when your team's losing objectives across the map. I think you have to start questioning that decision to both pick the Darius and to not take teleport on him. And now we see the entire team of UMD just rotating to this lane. I mean, this is the correct macro move for them.
Yep.
And
we got to pull in. Gragol's gonna kick 2. We got a 4-man Sedge ult again, but what? That doesn't matter! Twitch isn't there! Twitch Pope opens up, but he's gotta get the heck out of dodge! Lee kicks him! What a play by Zayax! Holy crap! They're gonna move over, take top tower, it looks like. No Baron for them yet, which is sad, but this is just a snowball game right here, boys.
right. The point I brought up earlier was just about positional advantage and awareness of where your team is for the follow-up. I mean, we saw such a in the last 2 fights, the Fluke's been hitting these 4- and 5-man Sedge ults, but if Wexler's just a few seconds late, he's just not able to do the damage. I mean, do see a pause coming out. Not sure what it's about, but I mean,
Lucian's DC'd.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So we'll try to get back in as soon as we can, but yeah, as I was saying, it's just UMD lacking a little bit of that awareness, and the team composition is just it's really not meant for what they're trying to use it as, which is going for these 5v5s when you don't have the Darius in a point where he can actually make an impact.
Yeah, I mean, these Sedge ults that are coming out, I will say they are superb. He's gotten 2 4-man ults, and in any type of team game, you'd think that's going to be a one team fight, but it just Wexler hasn't been able to be right next to his Sedge, and here he is. He's next to him, and let's see if they can pick him up.
Nice silence.
Clean kill. Yep. And
yeah, UMD. I mean, making a few good pickoffs off the back of these kind of overstays from St. Olaf, making good outplays and punishments on the overstays from St. Olaf, or freaking UMD, my bad. But it's just not that much in terms of like actually getting the team back into it, because they're not getting any global advantage, they're not getting any global gold, they're not getting the dragons, and right now I think their vision is extremely defensive. If we look towards it on the top side, all of their wards basically are in that top side jungle, which is not where you want your vision to be. You want to be expanding your vision line out to make proactive plays instead of only reacting to what the other team is doing on these extended pushes. And I mean, UMD is just, I mean, they're getting towers. Losing a couple kills here and there is not going to make or break their goals as a team. And I mean, they have a 7,000 gold lead here just before the 20-minute mark. And having that double Infernal Drake in your pocket just has to feel so good.
Especially with Orianna and Lucian. Those two are going to be the main users of that Infernal Drake, and they're going to be able to scale up incredibly well and be an incredibly potent force in these next fights.
Yeah, boosted 420 extremely far up in the mid lane here.
Yes, he is, and he's getting caught out. Flashes out. Nice Sedge ult. Ori Shockwave, but I think she's still going down. Lands the charm. Right Knight of Faker getting caught out here. It looks like he's going down. Ghost Flash. Bye.
Yeah, right now, Faker just, again, not kind of on the same page as this team there. They were going for that pickoff in the early game, in the mid lane, but more action. Oh!
This is what we want. Twitch able to line him up. Spray and pray. Gavin's going to fall to that poison, won't he? No, he won't! But he gets a Twitch Flash coming in, gets the double. Hey, look at that. They get a nice Infernal Drake for their win.
Was that triple Infernal?
No, that's...
Oh, wow, it actually is triple Infernal.
Leeson possibly could steal. Let's see if, they have tools to keep him out. I think this would be worth if he went in and stole this and died for it.
Yeah, smart decision by St. Olaf to pull it out a little bit. We'll have to see if he still goes for it.
He's going in early. He gets the silence.
Oh.
Down by a Raka. Raka says no, no, no. Swiper, no swiping.
Love it. I mean, yeah, that was pretty much like you said, an ideal team fight for the side of for the side of St. Olaf there. You know, you have Wexler in the choke point, just hitting people with a spray and pray with the Hurricane, and then Defloob hitting yet another insane ultimate. I mean, he's actually scarily consistent in hitting that ability, I think, this game.
Agree with that. And the way he did it was great. I think he
was really patient.
He was very patient. He went over the wall back to his team, so he didn't even go in like face first. He was not face taking any of that. He just whipped that ultimate, just drive by. Whee! You're frozen.
Yeah, and right,
Twitch able to just destroy.
Yeah, and right before that play, we have to criticize Boosted 420 for extending up into the mid lane and getting flanked before that, because the Orianna ball is such a big zoning tool in these fights that's able to keep Wexler out in terms of positioning. But that fight, he was just kind of untouched.
Yeah.
Able to get so many autos off and hitting the entire team there. So those are the fights we want to see coming more often out of the side of St. Olaf if they're gonna hope to come back in this game.
And looks like we kind of got a lull in the game. UMD not able to much anymore. They don't have as much vision. They kind of lost their tempo. So this might be a good moment for St. Olaf to maybe pull the trigger on something advantageous for them instead of just, letting them kind of get pushed in.
Yeah, I'd like to see Wexler go for a few more of those aggressive flank plays that he's been executing pretty well on. But I mean, there's a lot of pressure on him because of how important his positioning is in these team fights. He's pretty much his entire team's damage. I mean, Wolfie-Meister's so far behind off of that early game compared to Boosted 420, and then like we said, right out of Faker, he's pretty much just a meat shield at this point. He doesn't really do any damage, or he doesn't really have any threat of killing anyone really, because it's so easy to kite him with the composition coming out of UMD. But again, like, it is really on Wexler here to see if he can be in the back line, stay safe, avoid Zayex's kick flashes that he's definitely going to be trying to get on him.
Yep. Okay, looks like we got teams posturing here. St. Olaf's red side. Sedge is just going to go in and land another 4-man ult, but no one's there to follow up. Oh, we got a pull on the Boosted 420. Spray and pray, opening up. There he is, turning onto the Karma. Exhaust comes out, but that Karma's going down. Dunked.
Oh, this might be in Baron, actually. It's still pretty early in the game. It looks like they're going to opt for the mid-tower siege instead, but
Still has
I mean...
And she could look for a pick here, but looks like they're rotating over, going to be clearing vision, sending those scanners out, but Gragas is not having any of that. It looks like they're starting Baron or not.
Yeah, a little bit of an indecision here coming out of UMD. It is because Zayex is still alive, and Lee Sin always has a threat on stealing the Baron. I would have liked to see them go more aggressively for that mid lane tower. Ooh, nice pick off on a Zayex. That's going to definitely open up a lot more Baron pressure here.
Wolfie, I can say he's coming back with a vengeance. Ooh, almost hits the charm. Looks like Grag's getting out. But what'd they get out of that?
Yeah, I mean, I think UMD just kind of had too much indecision there off the back of an extremely... St. Olaf. Gosh damn it. Yeah, St. Olaf is showing a lot of indecision there, and they're kind of punished for it. I think they could have either secured Baron or at least a couple turrets mid there off the back of those plays. And, I mean, Defloob just setting up insane Sedge ults this game. Yes, his team was a little bit behind him there and didn't follow up until the end, but Wexler was able to get there in the end and just kind of shred through people. I think you 3-shot the Orianna there.
Yep. I mean, and you can see what I mean by saying that Leandri's would be kind of a good item, because we saw it did like maybe a 10th of everyone's HP with landing that kind of ult and then, getting the follow-up. But like, if he has a little more HP, Leandri's or anything like that, those ults hurt quite a bit. So I would like to see an item like that come out for the Sedge instead of the full tank, because they already have that meat shield of Darius just, trying to sit in front as well. But
right, I mean, definitely an argument to be made for the Locket as well. Obviously, building team items is good in a competitive setting.
Sure.
Maybe they're trying to coordinate, Jim Rainer maybe picking up the Redemption while Defloob picks up the Locket. I could definitely see that as an option, but we have to question UMD a little bit here. Picking these fights and those choke points just really opens you up for those huge AoE ultimates. I mean, they group up every single fight, and you have to expect Deflube to capitalize on that with how well he knows his champion.
Yeah, this is some great Sedge play we've been seeing. Looks like Twitch is trying to get a little flank in here, but he's got to be careful.
Bot lane.
And here comes the pulls the trigger, 2-man ult. Oh my amigos, you're gone. Let's see, Redemption coming through. Sedge is tanking as well. Looks like that's all they're gonna get. Wow, look at the rocket plays.
Oh.
Rocket heal, rocket ult. Everything for you, baby. You're landing those ults. I'm gonna keep you alive. Zyx looking on the flank, but they can't do much without that shockwave. That shockwave is their most important spell, it feels like.
Right, Zyx, why were you bot lane there? Like, it makes actually no sense to me whatsoever.
Oh, Wexler doing again, but look, he's got the Raka.
Wexler doing so much damage now. He's picked up the last Whisper too. An extremely good scoreline for him, 7-2 and 5. This is a complete reverse from the last game in terms of the bot lane matchup, I think. I mean, Gavin97 was so far ahead last game and really able to kind of set the tempo of these team fights. But in this game, it's all about Wexler and Deflube kind of just setting up an insane AoE combo that I have to criticize UMD for not playing around better.
It seems like Boosted 420 is just kind of, I don't know, he's not really respectful of that Sedge, so I think he needs to stay a little bit back, and they got to pull the, oh, we got a TP, looks like we're pulling the trigger, Twitch is getting caught out, he flashes out, another flash from Zyx, lands a Q on Raka, what a play by Deflube, able to knock that lead black,
oh my god,
he's gonna do it, Oriana Shockwave
Wexler's still alive, he's gonna kill everyone.
Wexler gets exhausted. Can he do it? Can he pick it up? Or he flashes out. Wow, what a play by Deflube, saving his beloved support, even though she ended up going down to that shockwave. But wow, beautiful play. Pushing mid here. Wolfie's going to try to wave clear as much as possible. Wexler does not have spray and play. They're going in. Wexler's going to be able to maybe pop off. With the cutthroat play.
Not quite enough. Redemption heal's going to get them here. Death timers are still pretty long. I think they're just going to go for the safe inhib and then go Baron here right away. Yeah, we see the pings coming down. I mean, another kind of lost team fight there for St. Olaf there, mainly due to the positioning of their bot lane being up a little bit too far. But, I mean, these team fights, Deflube's Sedge play is like one of those recipes, like you go to your friend's house, you eat it, and then you're like, I need the recipe. like Deflube is hitting legit 4 to 5 man ults every single fight. He's posturing for the steal now.
Can he do it? Grag's going over. Shockwave coming out as well. It looks like they're just trying to burst him down. He goes in the pit. He's not able to get it. There's about 500 HP left after he smited that.
Yeah, good discipline coming out of the side of UMD.
Go.
I think they stopped DPS there, which was definitely a smart decision.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, Deflube's trying his best to carry this game, I think, for the side of St. Olaf. And we have to question Wexler's positioning. He's kind of 50-50 on being in the right position, which, given it's not always easy against a Gragas and a Lee Sin, and then having to respect the Ori ball, but it is also so much of, you know, his play on his, on like whether his team is able to do well or not. And with no summoners on him now, it's going to be really hard in this next team fight while they try to defend this Baron empowered push.
I think it's important that Sedge and Twitch, I think Twitch should just go invisible right next to the Sedge and just wait for the 4-man ult, like, don't you? Like, he's landing him, just stay right next to him the whole time. Right there, look, he's doing it. I love it, Wexler, I believe in you. And we got that bot push coming in. Ooh, there's a whiff cut of Deflube, and he's gonna get punished hard for that one. Going down real quick. Spray and spray already used, that is not good. Right now, a Faker getting kited out, like you said, constantly, and they're going to keep up this push with that Baron empowered stuff. I'd like to see someone fall back. They'll get Karma going back, catching that wave. Nice plays. Poke coming out of Ori.
If you're St. Olaf, you should definitely concede this outer turret. Maybe look to clear the supers that are pushing into your mid lane. Go for the defense on the inhib. Maybe try to stall 20 seconds out. Nice chunk there on a boosted 420. Wexler doesn't have his spray and pray available, though, so it's going to be really hard.
Okay. trying to stall as much as possible, but Zayax is just going man mode onto the lead, misses his cue. Gavin flashes in though as he's gonna go down. The overstep by Gavin isn't gonna matter. Karma
Minions
in the
pushing in
reverse.
though. Oh, nice
Big
shockwave.
shockwave. Okay, we keep Sedge going back in, re-engaging. No, might go down to Ori. Yep, here comes more CC, more Greg in your face. Belly, slam. You're going down. And is this going to be the game? Right now to Faker trying to get him. Zayax is like, no way, this is game.
Convincing victory out of St. Olaf. Even though we look at the score lines being relatively even, I mean, they played the macro game so much better than St. Olaf there. And, I mean, they made a lot better team decisions, I think, and were able to pull the trigger and capitalize. They did have a few team fights where, again, Deflube and Wexler were able to get that sick combo off and capitalize on it, but it just wasn't reliable enough for St. Olaf in the end there. And we have to question their lane phase. Opting in for that early game comp and not being able to execute on it is just, I mean, you lose the game pretty early on. We saw a pretty 7K gold deficit at, I think, 20 minutes into the game, so... I mean, it just pretty much set the pace of the game there. And then boosted 420 with a really nice solo kill in the mid lane. Also kind of took away all pressure from the top side of the map for St. Olaf. I mean, like I said, right out of Faker, pretty much entirely useless that entire game.
On that, so who we got player of the game here? Who we got for that? I mean, can I give it to Flube? 1-7-15 on that Sedge. But man, that guy missed one ult the whole entire game. The rest of them, 3-4 man ults every time.
Yeah, I'm going to give it to Deflube, like 100%. Honestly, I didn't see many standout individual plays for coming out of the side of UMD, so I don't feel bad giving it to the losing team. I do think UMD had much better team play overall, but Deflube, I mean, I've never seen Sedge played like that before, to be honest. And I think if he had better follow-up, if they drafted a little bit more around him, his reliability in hitting those 4 and 5 man ults was actually insane.
And if we had to give it to the winning side, I'd probably give it to Zayax. Just he was able to push the advantage, and he was always looking for those aggressive plays, which I really liked. And UMD needed that. They needed that push to kind of, disrupt Olaf's comp and really sneak in there and cut, Twitch's juggler. But
absolutely. So now we're gonna pass it back over to Fenris and Sir Buttkick to kind of close out this series. And I mean, definitely a pleasure to cast as well, Dewey.
Yeah, man, that was fun.
Yeah, thank you so much, you two, for coming in, doing this fun little cast for us. I know the Twitch stream loved it. I was watching the whole thing, and people were going nuts. So congratulations, you two. You did a great job.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Thanks for having us on here.
Oh, of course. Me and Fen are just here for some more messages.
Yeah, and we will be excited to have you guys here again next Thursday if you will be willing to cast those days.
Putting them on the spot right now.
Yeah, I mean,
I love
Check schedule furiously.
All right, we'll talk about that behind the scenes,
yeah.
so I'd figure that out. But just a couple words from the sponsors. Thank you, Envade, for sponsoring us, helping us put on the show. Go check out all of their gaming apparel. Thank you so much for all the players putting on this great show for us tonight. Thanks to the viewers for giving us an audience to perform for. And thank you so much to the production staff, specifically our streamer, doing so much work for us. Fen, anything else you want to talk about, maybe scheduling going forward?
well, yeah, the biggest thing we're going to have to talk about next is going to be looking ahead to our next set of games on Thursday, which is going to be April 20th at 7 p.m. Mankato versus St. Cloud.
And then after that, on Friday, April 21st at 7:30 p.m., there is Duluth Ram Ranch. I think the name we're giving them is Cowboys. So the Cowboys against McAllister playing against each other on that Friday. And then the winner of those two games, they'll be playing their game against each other on April 23rd. And don't forget, April 22nd at 1 p.m. is going to be Ganked by Gophers now against the Chicken Chasers, who just won the series in a 2-0 fashion. So they still have a road ahead of them to get to that final match, which again is every team's end goal. But thank you to the teams for showing up today. And Yeah, anything else you want to finish up with, Don?
Well, nothing else really. Just have a wonderful night, everyone. Thank you for watching.
And take care. See you next time.